Schumer's office?
Yes, this is Kevin Mulvey calling again. I didn't get through to Maxine. I only got a voicemail.
All right, 1 second.
Thank you.
Yes, can I help you?
Hi, Maxine. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
This is Kevin Mulvey calling. I'd spoken to you quite a while back.
Right.
You probably remember, right, the COINTELPRO problem that we were having with Senator Schumer.
It's not an FBI problem?
Yeah, right, the FBI problem.
As the circumstantial evidence piles up, investigators are able to get a warrant to tap Cooper's phone.
And when you put a wire in, say, a year after a given crime, the chances of picking up on a conversation are small.
We like to do what is called tweaking or tickling the wire, which means to do something overtly on the outside that is going to generate some conversation on the telephone.
There it is. Oh, God. Oh, I just got a beep. Did you get that?
A beep? No, I didn't.
I wanted to update you on that and also ask you a few things as to no lawyer. I've spoken to some of the, needless to say, some of the most well-known lawyers in the country, and everybody is afraid of, retribution, so nobody will get near it, unfortunately. And I was wondering whether or not Senator Schumer was on board now with Senator Grassley, who's now that it's come to light that the FBI is in bed with the Mafia out of Boston, this Mark Rossetti case that Senator Grassley is now looking into and asking Mueller to answer to, and whether or not Schumer is on board with this. He is on the same committee.
I have no idea.
Okay. Because it's the same group, the same lawyers, the same people, the same murderers, the same everything. It all hooks to the same crew of criminals out of Boston. And I was just wondering whether or not Senator Schumer was actually, being on the oversight committee, whether or not he was actually, part of the group that would be, following through on this or not. I didn't realize it when I had spoken to you at that time that Senator Schumer was, had a roommate of Representative Delahunt down in Washington. Does he also have Representative Keating now as the roommate down there? They're from the same territory that this murder took place.
I don't know. What are you asking the senator to do exactly?
Well, it had to do with the fact that our liberty and our freedom had been stolen, and we'd been terrorized like Nazis did and the Stasi have done, and he is our representative, and doesn't he take an oath, to protect us from foreign and domestic terrorists? This was the question that I was trying to bring up to him at that time. I had brought him all of that information.
Do you have an open case?
There is no open case. I had brought it to him because that's what they're to do, is to oversee the institutions in the executive branch, are they not?
The institutions in the executive branch.
That's correct.
What does that mean exactly?
Isn't it the job of Congress, the Judiciary Committee, Government Reform and Oversight, to oversee the institutions, meaning the Justice Department, the FBI, and the President, even for that matter? Is that not the job of Congress, especially the Judiciary Committee on Government Reform and Oversight?
The Judiciary Committee?
Yes.
Doesn't do investigations into legal cases.
Well, what is that? Only the representatives do that, the House?
No.
Well, they did from 2000 to 2004, and that's what they were looking into, was the government corruption in FBI, Justice Department, and Massachusetts law enforcement through the House.
I'm familiar with the Massachusetts cases.
Okay, that had to do with Whitey Bulger and the FBI being in bed with Whitey Bulger.
If you have an open federal agency case, the senator can look into the status of it.
Well, the case is really it has to do with the same connection, and it has to do with the fact of corruption within government, Maxine.
And
I'm trying to make this.
Corruption in government.
That's correct.
Has been adjudicated in a course of law.
Parts of it have. They turned around and prosecuted Whitey Bulger's handler, FBI handler, John Connolly in Miami. There's a lot of people that were let off the hook.
That was part of your case?
No, it's not part of my case.
I'm talking about your case.
My case is that I brought it to Senator Schumer's attention as my representative about the fact that we have been under a COINTELPRO targeting. Does he or does he not represent us in Congress? Does he or does he not? And let me ask you this. Does he take an oath to defend us people from a Gestapo type of tactics by a government when it has gone rogue like this in an institution?
Legally, I don't know if he is taking.
Is there anybody legal under his legal that I can speak to about this?
You're speaking to her.
Okay, well, I know that you're a representative, a liaison, but do you have a law degree?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you would, but do you understand all of the constitutional law?
Yes, I do, and
okay.
Also the fact that the senator's office cannot get involved in legal issues.
But does he represent us to protect us from foreign and domestic terrorists? I ask that question because we have been targeted by domestic terrorism within an institution of the United States government, as to which he is to be overseeing. That's correct.
You're accusing the FBI of
domestic terrorism. That's correct. And I have been for quite a while.
You're asking the senator to do an investigation.
Yes, to look into it.
I'm not aware that the senator is allowed to do an investigation.
Well, can you do me a favor and find this out? Because I do put this online, every bit of it. I have made it all very public now.
You have a legal case?
No, I believe in
that you won this case and
no, you're putting words in making things up. That is not the story.
I don't understand exactly what you're asking.
I am asking the senator to have looked into this situation.
Could you please define look into?
Look into what I have stated, all the material that I had sent along about the fact that we were being targeted COINTELPRO style by the FBI as a result of a murder.
Your material is no longer here. It was archived.
Okay. Well, then he at least has it archived. You can also find it online because that's all there now, too.
If there's something specific that you think constitutionally and legally the senator can do,
yes, I
would suggest you write a new letter asking him to do whatever it is you think he is allowed to do, and you will get a response.
Well, is there anybody that would legally know whether or not he is supposed to, when he takes an oath, whether or not he is to protect us from domestic terrorists as well? I don't know. I mean, this is what I read in an oath, but I don't see that being the case here for what we've been through. I see a lot of coziness, but I don't see our rights being stood up for here, or a constitution.
So you want him to be your legal representative?
No, I don't want him to be my legal representative. Okay, the House right now is looking into the fact with all of the arms shipments. Okay, I've got the GOP looking into this angle of it too, because of the fact that it's the arms and the drugs. Okay, Boston, they're in bed with the FBI, the Mafia. Mark Rossetti was recently.
I need you to write a letter being specific about what you want the senator to do, okay?
Be specific. Well, you know what? I don't have a lawyer, so I can't do it. What can I tell you? I've talked with some of the tops in the country, as well as, a lot of people. A lot of people about this. People are afraid. People are afraid of government retribution. You know? Hitler would have loved all this technology. It's just been incredible. You know, I'm pretty disgusted all the way around.
If you have something that the senator can do for you, it must be in writing with a privacy waiver.
Okay, what is the privacy waiver?
It's online on the senator's website, giving the senator permission to contact the federal agency that you have an open case with.
I don't have an open case with anyone. What's the open case? I tried to get a former congressman to try to get the inspector general, because of the fact that it's Mueller directly who's behind all this, because of the fact that he was the former federal prosecutor in Boston that got installed by Bush. This goes back and forth. He had a 100-0 a pass to stay on as the FBI director for another 2 years after they had done a 4-year investigation into them up in Boston, except for Bush had signed an executive privilege order not allowing Congress to look any further into the Boston federal prosecutor's office records for about 20 or 30 years of corruption that comes out of that area. And then I find out, you know, here I'm talking to you thinking, you know, well, Senator Schumer will look into this. I mean, but then I find out that his roommate was Della Hunt, who was the 10th congressional representative, as well as receiving patronage from the victim and his father's boss, Bellotti.
To the status of, please write us.
In the status of. Okay, so basically he does not look into, basically he just supports whatever's going on within their own organization, right?
I have a real problem with you if that's what you assume as a result of what I've said. Yes. No, of course not.
But if I call with the complaint of the fact that we are being domestically terrorized by I'm a constituent, right? By an agency within the government and he is on the committee to oversee them, and there's no looking into. I'll point out.
You're asking the senator's committee,
right,
to do what a court of law does. What the senator's committee does.
When it's the law that's doing the Gestapo, there isn't going to be anybody that's going to be doing any court of law.
Well, fine.
That's what
then
the committee is there for.
Asking the senator and his committee to look into the issue of the terrorism and being caused by the FBI to you with the stalking and the tracking your email, etc.
Phones, right.
And
terrorism, right.
And how you feel that it is the senator's committee's responsibility to investigate this and punish the FBI.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have to write that letter and send that on to you. Do I send it to Washington?
D.C.
To D.C. Do I, anybody in particular, or to him directly?
Yes.
I'll send it to him.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Max.
Okay.
Right. Bye-bye.